All right. Saurabh Bose.
Hey,
I appreciate you coming by, man.
thank you. Thanks for having me, man.
Yeah,
That's
dude.
great.
I'm sorry for the traffic.
Oh,
It's
it's
been
all right.
wild.
Yeah, it's crazy. I left my house and I'm like, I left at 3 and I'm like, 45 minutes. It's about 30 miles. So I was like, it's not going to be that bad.
Sure.
And then the GPS kept on going up and up and up. And I'm like, what is going on?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. It's Saturday. Everyone's tired of COVID, man.
right.
I mean, I'm with them.
Everybody's out. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, how has it been? How's it treated you? Have you, stuck in quarantine for the most part?
Yeah,
or-
when it hit initially, and we were all on lockdown. I work remotely, so
Oh, okay.
I mean, I can go in the office, and I actually prefer the office because
Mhm.
I'm not as productive at home.
Okay.
It's just too easy to knock off.
Get a little chill,
you got
yeah.
chill, and
Yeah.
so yeah, it's been fine. My office opened, and it's nice because there's no traffic, and I just go in, and there's no one in the office either.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I mean, I've been handling it okay.
Good.
Yeah,
Good.
yeah, it's been good.
And this is mainly the design work that we just talked about. The
Yeah,
visual?
visual design. I'm a principal UX designer at a company called Backbase.
Backbase.
Yeah, and we do financial software to help banks basically go from like brick and mortar to digital.
Ah.
So
Okay.
banks of all sizes, financial institutions, credit unions, small community banks, all the way up to some of the biggest banks. And it's a worldwide company. So
The company you work for.
yeah.
Ah.
Yeah.
Okay. So this isn't your personal company.
no, it's the company I work for, and then I do other stuff on the side as well.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
whenever I get a
Oh,
chance.
we got to, man.
Yeah,
That's
it's all
right.
about the hustle.
Is that more audio based? The side stuff.
Yeah, some of it's audio based, some of it's a mix of my day job and sort of combining that with the audio stuff as well.
That's so awesome.
Yeah.
So I mean, whenever you went to school, was it mainly for audio or mainly for the visual design?
So yeah, my undergrad was actually an engineering degree. So it was more,
whoa.
it was more like actual programming and software and
Yeah.
stuff like that.
The math and everything.
The math and all the programming. And so I know a little bit of that, but it wasn't my main thing. So after I graduated undergrad, I went to grad school. And grad school, I did a degree that was sort of it's called information design, but it's basically digital design. It's like all different types of information is being digitized, right? So it can be audio,
Wow.
video, graphics, anything is going to be digital. And so it was a very early sort of digital degree
Gotcha.
that combined basically your interests, whether your interests were audio, whether it was in video, whether it's in designing apps or creating apps or visual design or graphics or whatever.
Wow.
You sort of built your own game plan, built your own curriculum.
Gotcha.
And so I sort of built mine out of all my interests, which audio and music were one of the big ones. So
Yeah. I've been catching up with your podcast, man.
Yeah.
Putting all that music. I listened to one that you were pushing out on Twitter.
Yeah.
And I didn't know what to expect. I was expecting something like this. I didn't realize it was a music podcast.
Yeah, it was a music. Yeah.
That's pretty dope.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is that like a common thing to have a podcast just be music, just streaming?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't know what to call it, if it was traditional podcast, but it's just a DJ like live stream, I guess.
Yeah.
And then I was like, I'm probably gonna try to transition it to a more podcast format where I'm talking and it's like more like a radio show.
Okay.
I just haven't got around to it.
Yeah,
but
dude.
it's a process.
Yeah,
as you know.
I understand, man. I understand. I've
Yeah.
been holding off doing something like this for forever.
Right.
Or
right.
trying to it's weird. Like after graduation, I did some freelance stuff, and it leaned more towards video just because it was easier for me to get jobs that way.
Right.
And it helped to have audio and video equipment both.
Right.
And then me and my wife Katie
Right.
kind of just went in business together because we would both do the audio and the video.
Right.
But after a moment, I ended up taking a gig over here.
Okay.
And it's been a wild ride, man.
Nice.
But taking it from the audio focus to now video.
To now video. Yeah.
Yeah.
Your degree was video, right?
It was an audio.
It was an audio. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Got it.
It was just in the middle of college where I just wanted to do some video because some guy did a project. Everyone was going crazy about it. I was like,
right.
That can't be that hard. And so I got a DSLR, and
right.
I don't know what it was, but it's crazy. Like they keep on getting incrementally better,
right?
Year after year. Like now these things shoot crazy 4K
Right.
and stuff like that. It's nuts.
I just remember some of your projects that I remember from your portfolio. They were, I felt they were like strong video projects, you know. So they're visually very good. So
I appreciate it.
So that's why I was like, that's why I was remembered. Oh, how is this? He's a video guy, right? But then
it's leaned toward that way.
Yeah.
I felt a little bad because I interned at Doppler
right
before it closed down. And I like they were really giving me the road to stay there and do some more audio stuff. But I remember being there when like Young Jeezy was there for months.
Right.
And I caught up with his audio engineer, and they were late. They were there like super late, and after the entourage and Young Jeezy left, it was like 5 a.m. and they were hard pressed for mixing. And I love it. It's very romantic, but at the same time I was like, I don't know if I want to be an engineer in this capacity. Yeah.
I mean, I remember always telling students like, look, you can't just be good at one thing. You have to sort of diversify and like, and then you're going to find your niche, whatever that is. I mean, it's like, not everybody's going to have that audio engineer lifestyle, 5 a.m. Like it just doesn't vibe with the rest of the world in a lot of ways,
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, everyone has to forge their own path, I think.
Yeah. And to your point, be multitasking.
Right.
Constantly.
Yeah. The two things I think I try to teach most was like, multitask, be good at more than one thing, and then always network, because you never know who you meet that can get you into like, whatever.
Yes.
So,
be nice.
Yeah.
Help out.
Yeah.
That's a big one.
Yeah.
That's a big one, especially in college. I mean, but for yourself, did you do a lot of that with your projects and audio? Like, were you into audio while you were going to school in engineering?
Yeah. Like I went to Georgia Tech. So what we had, there wasn't a really creative presence at Georgia Tech. It's a very text heavy school, right? So math, science, STEM. But a bunch of us who were into like music and bands and creativity, we started a little music room with a live desk and monitors and all that stuff. We basically put it together in one of our dorms.
Okay.
And I remember the dorm was called Couch. That was the name of the building, and so we called it. It was in the basement. We called it Under the Couch.
That's so
and
dope.
it's still there today.
No way.
Yeah.
You mean this is like a little community?
Yeah, little community we built out, and it was fun. It was fun while I was there, and now it's taken on a life of its own. I also was a radio DJ on WREK, the 91.1 FM station at Georgia Tech as well.
No way.
Yeah, so I did that for a while. And the way I got into that was kind of like, basically I ended up when I moved off campus, like near campus, I ended up staying at a former DJ's house who lived there.
Okay.
And so I ended up inheriting all his records and
way.
So yeah.
Dude.
So yeah, it was a crazy story
pretty
how I
dope.
got it. So yeah, while I was doing all this engineering stuff and my undergrad, I got into audio really heavily. So
yeah. Wow. So do you play any instruments, anything like that, or do any compositions?
I dabble. I've released some music over time. It's one of my hobbies, but I never really pursued it, I guess. Like I did, but not really.
More hobby
and like just release some stuff, because it doesn't pay very well, right?
No,
as anyone knows, unless you
absolutely.
Yeah. So I knew from the beginning sort of the music industry thing was not going to be my main focus. It was going to be a side hobby for fun.
I got you.
Yeah.
I made the same decision my freshman year.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
I mean, to your point, man, it's just not where it is anymore, music wise.
Right. Right.
Maybe I was thinking, because I went to the Art Institute. I was coming from Dalton State. I didn't do so hot in high school, right? So I was like, I'll go to a downplayed school,
right?
Get better grades, and then see where I can go afterwards. And
right.
I was there for psychology.
Yeah.
And so I was like, I was really into music. I was a guitarist at the time and had a band and all this. And that's why I transferred to the Art Institute to see, well, maybe I can just do some behind the scenes.
Right.
And then maybe that'll lead into me being able to play.
Right.
And then going to school, I was like, man, musicians really I don't know if it's easy to live that musician lifestyle.
It's tough.
Full time.
Yeah, it's tough.
Yeah.
It's tough. It's like I wouldn't wish it on. I mean, some people love it, and some people if you have that mentality and you have that grind like sort of mentality, you can't. The problem is a lot of musicians end up being pretty lazy. Like they just they have that lifestyle.
Sure.
They have that mentality of I'll get there when I get there, being late and, being hungover or whatever it is. I've been in lots of sessions where it's just unprofessional. And I think you can't have that mindset. And also, like, you have to treat it like a job. You have to treat it like any other, like, 9 to 5, which sucks, right? Because musicians don't like 9 to 5s. We don't want to be a 9 to 5 person. But if you don't treat your actual profession, what you really love to do, like with that mentality, with a business-like mentality, then it's difficult to succeed.
And that's interesting.
Unless you're really lucky. There's cases of that too, I'm sure.
Sure. Just right place, right time. But that's so rare.
It's so rare.
It's super rare. And you don't really get good.
Yeah, you don't get good like that.
That was my thing a couple of years back, was just trying to write, trying to draw. I met up with Alan after graduating to see if he could get me started drawing, because I was really into it. But then at the same time, I almost approached it the same way I approached my musicianship, because I would practice 4 to 6 hours every day, but then it kind of waned. Right. I think that's the point where everyone starts to be like, I'll check out.
Yeah.
Is it really what you want to do? And
there's this theory. I don't know if you've heard of it, but it's like I think I told this in class too, but it takes 10,000 hours in order to master anything.
Absolutely.
And that's not necessarily true, because, like, you may have an aptitude for something that you may be able to accelerate and be better at something. But in order to actually get to that point of knowing whether you can be a master of something or not, you have to put 10,000 hours in.
Sure.
Which is a lot of time to invest in something that you don't know if you're going to be good at or not.
Sure. It's a risk, man.
Yeah.
It's a risk, but that's I think that's the part of the fun. And I don't know, like, I did that. I want to say I put that 10,000 hours with musicianship.
Right.
And even though I don't really play much anymore,
I've
taken that discipline and tried to apply it.
Exactly. So it may not be directly applicable. Like your guitar playing may not be obviously how it affects your other things, but that discipline, that mindset is going to lead you to success in other realms. Right?
I'm hoping so.
Right? Yeah. Right.
Yeah. Alita, don't chew on the man's watch.
She likes the iWatches, I guess.
She does. She loves technology. Yeah. I'll tell you that much. Oh my goodness. Get out of here. Shoo. You can bat her away. It's okay.
All right. She's so cute.
She knows it too, man.
Yeah, right.
Oh Lord. Talk about time. I got her last year because I wanted a dog so badly for years.
Right.
I had a cat, Mr. Kitty. And I was like, fuck it. I'm going to get a Shiba Inu.
Right.
Because I heard they weren't too big.
Yeah.
And they kind of were like cats.
Yeah.
Like, because they groom themselves and everything. I love her. Super quiet, super chill. Isn't really too loud.
Right.
But she's very stubborn.
Yeah.
Like a cat.
Right.
So, I mean, you were saying you wanted a dog, right?
Yeah, Maybe. I've been thinking about it. The problem is I work so much, and last year before the pandemic, I traveled a lot for work.
Really?
Yeah. So it's kind of hard to have a dog and then be always away from home, and I would feel bad for the dog.
No, I dig it. I dig it. I'm the same way. Whenever I have a shoot, it's only like a day.
Right.
And near here, I say near, like a couple of hours.
Right.
And even those few hours while I'm out, I'm like, I hope she's good.
Yeah. Right. Right.
I want to spoil.
But there's 2 of you, so that's kind of good.
Yes.
That's a little
but we
bit
both
better.
work in the same place.
Oh, okay.
So
Gotcha.
that wasn't always the case, but recently, Katie's doing stills and some videography.
Okay.
And it's funny enough because I got the audio degree, she got the video degree.
Did you go to art institute too? Oh, okay.
Yeah, she won best in her class, man.
Oh, wow.
Right
that's
after
right.
I graduated. But,
wow. Okay.
Kelly Ezador won best in my class.
Yes.
At that time.
Yeah.
And she's doing well too.
Good.
She's doing. She's an audio tech, I believe, for a company out. And I've had a couple of other people on the show too. You remember Zuba? Did you ever meet him?
Yes.
DJ
yeah, I remember
himself.
Zuba. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember Zuba.
Doing well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I always love to hear stories about students, because former students, when they do well, I feel like, in a way, a contributor to their success. Yeah. Oh, sorry. Yeah, sure. I didn't even notice like what she was doing. I was like, what is she? Yeah. Yeah, that's kind of weird to say, but
how do you mean, like listening to how students are doing?
No, I tried to figure out like why do I get so happy when I see that students are doing really well, and I hear about them if I haven't heard about them in a long time, and I see they're doing well. I think it's just sort of a selfishness that I'm like, yeah, maybe I contributed a little bit to that. You know what I'm saying? So it's like,
absolutely.
it's totally like a ego driven thing. But
I love that though, because I'm starting to get that itch myself.
Right.
Little by little.
Yeah.
Like where I work now, I do like a mentorship thing.
Mm-hmm.
So we had a girl, Kaden, there. She did like graphic design and never really had any video experience. She came in, and after 8 months, completely knows how to run camera, do editing, all that jazz. And to your point, I like that a lot. No. I'm
gonna hide my hands over here.
It's all the stuff, man.
Yeah,
she's like, dude, I want to bite it all.
Yeah, she's like, I want this stuff.
If she gets troublesome, you can put her in the pen. Oh man,
she's funny.
Yeah, super cute, and she's like a year old, so she's like in her teens.
So they're trainable, but they're stubborn, is what you're saying.
Yes,
that breed.
Absolutely. Now she was really easy to train in the beginning, but to your point, time. It's like another job almost,
right?
Because you have to get in there, have your treats constantly, and then misdirect them towards any bad behavior. Yeah. That's tough to do.
Yeah, that's the other thing. I mean, the only reason I started thinking about a dog is because being shut in, and then I was like, oh, this is the perfect time. I can train it. Yeah, I'm like,
Yeah.
But that opportunity's gone now. But we'll see. I have to
are
find
you back full time?
Yeah, I worked full time through the whole thing. And it was actually really, really productive, to be honest. Like, there's two types of people, right? People that fall apart when something like this happens.
Sure.
And there are people that use it as an opportunity. And I was like, I have
Yeah.
all this time. I cannot go out. I can't spend money. I can't do this. Like, I basically have my opportunity to do whatever I want now.
Yeah.
And so I wrote and recorded an album. I started.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, whoa.
Yeah.
A whole album?
A whole album.
Dude.
Yeah. So I wrote that, and I'm mixing it right now. And when I have time, it's a slower process now that I go back. I'm back in the office, but wrote, record an album. I started. I wrote a book that's sort of like a how-to guide to sort of, because I realized I have like thousands and thousands of hours of like my training materials, and when I taught at Art Institute, all these classes, like that, all this class material that I developed.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I have to monetize that somehow. Like I feel like even if I don't monetize it, I need to package it in a way where people can have access to it. And I was basically going to give all my former students all access for free, because I feel like they've already paid for it. So, you know what I mean? Like,
or still paying
for it. Right. But yeah, I was going to launch that sort of side business of, here's all my educational resources. Here's everything, all the training. Like, because I did put a lot of time into it when I was working at the Art Institute, was developing these classes and developing the curriculum. So I was like, I've got to, this mounds of stuff. I got to do something with it now. So
absolutely, man.
Yeah.
So I mean, what drew you into doing teaching in the first place? It sounds like you're very much a hands-on creator. Yeah.
Yeah. I think it was just, the opportunity was there. I was working for a company at the time, and the company went under. It was like during the first internet bubble. And that company went under, and then I had the experience, and there was an opening at the Art Institute, and I never considered teaching before, because I'm more of an introverted person. I don't like talking out in front of a classroom. So that was like the most scary thing that you could be doing at that time.
Oh man.
And for me, but I was like, maybe I'll try it. Maybe I'll give it a shot. And I gave it a shot, and they made me like the interview. I did an interview, and then also they had me teach a guest lecture. And I was like,
really?
It's the first time I ever got in front of a room
and
spoken to like strangers.
Like students?
Like students. Yeah. Ever.
Oh man.
So I was
How
like,
was that?
It was nerve wracking at the time. It was just like crazy. I'm like, how am I gonna do this? It was so scary. Like, my heart was pounding on my chest. I was like sweating. I was like, I was terrible at it. I'm sure I was bad. I'm sure, but somehow they still hired me, and I was like, and I actually enjoy it. I found out I enjoyed it because, number one, the best way to know something is to teach it. Like, you will become an expert at anything if you have to teach it, because that means you have to know it better than anybody, right? So that's number one. And then just like meeting students and like finding about their lives, and like, it was just like like a lot of my students, I could consider them friends. They're part of my peer group. They're part of my acquaintance group. They're they're my network. So it's like it ended up being really beneficial. I think.
Awesome.
Yeah. So,
I love that.
Yeah.
Wow. So went in for interview, knocked out this basically baptism by fire, right?
Right. Exactly.
Oh,
yeah.
dude, that's insane. I only did public speaking that class.
Right.
And that was for me nerve-wracking.
Right.
Oh man, I can only imagine that kind of pressure.
Right. Yeah. It's a lot. It's a lot. But I mean, once you do it, it's not that hard. It's not that bad.
Okay.
Like, yeah. It's like you just get over it.
Yeah. I remember one of the first things I was directing a short film, and I had my. Huh? I'm out of focus. Am I in focus now? All right.
Okay.
Autofocus. It does its own thing. Oh, so I remember one of my first shoots. All the shoots that I had done in college at that point, very small, people that I had met through like Whole World Improv Theater, actors and all this.
Yeah.
But after graduating, my short film, one of the first ones I did afterwards, I remember it was a bigger crew, people I had never met. The only guy I knew on set was my gaffing guy, Jim Ross.
Right.
And I was like, Jim, what do I say to these people? Because we were all at craft services.
Right.
And everyone was like doing their lines and all this, and I had to start blocking so we can get the day going.
Right.
But I was just so nervous. I don't even know why. But after he's like, all right, hey, everyone. Romero wants to say something.
Right.
Kind of really put me on the spot. It gets easier after that first time.
Right.
For sure.
Right. And I think also one of those things that helps is if you do know what you're talking about, like if you have that confidence of I know what I'm doing, I know what I'm talking about, then that, even though it might be like intimidating the first time, after that first hurdle, then you're fine, know, because it's only when you have like imposter syndrome and like you don't know what you're talking about. Then, yeah.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Right. Like, almost like a fake it till you make it.
Fake it till you make it. I don't know if that thing ever really works. It works somewhere, but it doesn't. I don't think it's a.
I think I've only ever been asked something I don't know about, and made some bullshit answer once, and it happened to have worked that one time.
Right.
But after that, I would try to make it a point to know exactly what I'm doing.
Right.
That's tough though, man. Especially lately, having to bounce around so many different things. Like you were asking about cameras.
Yeah.
They change every year.
Yeah.
And usability for the most part is the same.
Right.
But the lenses as well, the crops and everything. And even this guy, I got this mixer, and I was trying to set it all up, and I had forgotten I'm not really too much of an audio guy anymore.
Right.
At least not hardware.
Right.
Hardware wise.
Yeah.
So just putting the limiter on this was like, how do I do this?
Yeah. What's the signal path again?
Yeah.
What's gain staging?
Well, actually, that's a big thing that I try to have. These guys do the edit in Premiere.
Right.
I basically call all the automation we do with the audio before we send the client. That's gain staging.
Right.
And that really doesn't matter when we do in the final QC because I just put it in Logic and mix it anyway.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah, that's been a treat teaching people that don't know audio.
Right. Yeah.
Just little things.
Yep.
It kind of reminds me of how I felt when I first started learning it with Rob Appleton's book.
Yep.
I remember that.
The 101 audio 101 book.
Yeah. Were you you said you made your own curriculum. Were you a part of the overall curriculum of the audio department?
Yeah. I mean, we didn't have, I was actually hired, when I was hired for, it was actually the web design program.
Okay.
Because I had done, up to that point, like, I'd done audio as well, but web design was my main sort of
like your
gig.
Focus.
That was my main gig, and I was doing audio on the side. And then Rob, who was also in the department, he was teaching the audio classes for web, right? Audio for web and audio for interactive media. He was like, we should start an audio degree. So he was like, hey, can you help me build this curriculum? So we built it out. We got it approved. Yeah.
That's insane.
Yeah,
so that was pretty recently. It had to have been recently being like.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of the year we started it.
And you did it for the Art Institute.
Yeah, we did it for the Art Institute. They already had audio degree programs at other art institutes, just not in Atlanta.
I see.
And we were like, Atlanta's such a huge audio community, you know,
Sure.
hip hop,
Big
all
in the
that
music
stuff,
scene.
everything. Yeah, all the music, everything. So we were like, why
Film
not
was
here?
starting to come down
And then film
here.
started to come as well. So we
Yeah.
knew there was going to be opportunities for people who need to be trained in audio and
Sure.
video as well. Video was already there, but they didn't have audio.
Sure.
And then audio ended up becoming the biggest department in
Is
the
that
school.
right?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
We had more audio. We had more at some point. We had more audio students enrolled in audio than any other program, except I think maybe the culinary school.
Okay.
Because the culinary is a little bit different. So yeah.
How do you mean?
Like they have their own floor. They're they
have the kitchen up
yeah,
there.
the kitchen and stuff.
Almost
it's
like their
a
own
different.
little isolated.
Yeah, it's almost a different program, but it's not. But yeah.
I gotcha. So are you still teaching there now?
No, I left. When did I leave? 2015? No, it couldn't be 2015. 2017.
A couple of years ago.
Yeah, a couple of years ago. 2017.
okay.
I think so. Yeah.
Oh wow.
I started teaching there 2001.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't realize you were
2017.
there for that long.
Yeah.
That's wild.
15 years. 9 of which I think were at least were with audio.
With audio.
Yeah.
That's insane, man.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Because I graduated there at 2013.
2013. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got out of there, and it was an experience, man. I appreciate what you and everyone else did for that audio department. It was fun.
Yeah. It was good.
Yeah. I do wish though that we had more of a connection with the other departments, because that's one thing I've learned being out and freelancing and doing what I do now.
Mm-hmm.
I could see the benefit of photography and video, and web, all of us being able to get in on something a little more collaborative.
Right.
Yeah.
I tried to do that, but it was just so hard because a lot of students that went to that school that were interested in audio were very, very only interested in the music thing or audio.
Is that
very
right?
limited? Yeah, they didn't have that mindset of I want to learn about film, or I want to learn. I mean, there were a few like yourself and a few others that were like, oh, okay, that were a little bit more open-minded to that stuff, but a lot of people weren't. So they would hate those classes that they'd have to take where you have to collaborate and make a film, right, with a crew and do all that stuff.
Really?
Which I thought would be the funnest part of going to school.
Yeah.
Like I would love that if I could go back to school and do that.
Yeah. I thought that was a lot of fun.
Right.
Wow. I didn't realize most of them were music focused.
Yeah, a lot of music focused people.
Gotcha. Have you had students that are in the music scene now that have graduated and are out there mixing?
Yeah, a few students are doing that. I'm trying to think of some of the names, and I'm drawing a blank. But I also taught at SAE, which is a school of audio engineering.
Okay.
That was downtown. So I taught there too, and that was purely an audio engineering school. So that was only audio. I don't think they had any film stuff at all. It was just studio.
Really?
Yeah, studio like stuff. So
wow.
But yeah, I was always trying to get students into like other stuff. Like I taught the audio for gaming class. Like
I remember that.
Yeah, like you got to get into like, and gaming is huge. It's such a huge industry now. Like compared to like even when you graduated in 2013, it's like now it's like nuts.
It's the norm.
It's the norm. Yeah.
I mean, it surpassed film. In terms of revenue.
Yeah, by far.
Unreal.
Yeah.
But
gaming is huge.
But I have to say, it's not so easy to get into gaming.
It's tough.
Like even with audio,
it's tough. Yeah.
Learning the right, audio design platform to get into just making it for gaming.
Right.
Because you showed us WYs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wise, and then the other one is Audio Kinetic. Yeah.
That's one I keep seeing up in the games that I play.
Yeah.
But that's a whole different kind of workflow mindset.
Yeah.
Because you kind of have to prep it and then bake it in and just see how it works.
Yeah.
Isn't that right?
Yeah. And it's more of what we do when we develop apps. It's sort of that sort of like process, right? It's a methodology where you have to know some things about how programming works and how like these sort of things like work in the back end as far as technology. You can't just be pure audio. It has to be like,
well, absolutely.
Yeah.
I've tried to get into it, man. I have a Python book behind my manga. Trying to get it into just learning a little bit of the language.
Yeah.
Because if you don't, I mean, you can't really do much else than this. Like, I like the video and everything, but I kind of want to get into more interactive experiences, gaming being one of the big ones.
Yeah, for sure.
And that's a tough one to tough one to crack. Because if you don't know programming, you're kind of shit out of luck.
Yeah. Most of the guys that I know work in audio for games are somewhat, they know audio programming side of it as well.
Do they
so,
really?
Yeah. So
I didn't know. Okay,
yeah,
so
yeah.
not only programming, but audio programming.
Yeah. Specific audio programming. Yeah.
What languages are those? Are they like, can you do
they're still in Java for the most part, but like for example, like when you're building a room, right? You're building it in 3D space with your 3D program. You also have to program how the audio is going to work in that space, right?
Right.
So that requires like knowing how reflections work and echo and reverberation and programming that into the space.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So how audio behaves is the same as it would be in the real world, just in the virtual world. Yeah.
That's insane. So like, what about programs like I have Unreal on here and Unity?
Yeah.
Don't those have their own?
They have their own audio modeling engines built in, but for like games like Naughty Dog, like their audio is off the chain because it's custom. They don't use what's built in Unreal or in some of the other programs. They custom program their own audio synthesis engines.
That's insane.
Yeah.
But it's powered by like, isn't it Bywise or Kinetic? Or isn't it
I mean,
using those still
for the audio triggering? So if you have audio events, those might be triggered with those programs. But the actual environments themselves have to be coded.
That's insane,
hard
man.
coded. Yeah.
I gotta tell you what. Have you you do a lot of gaming?
I used to. I don't have a lot of time. That's
the
problem.
I dig it.
And you know what? Like when I get into it, like for me, it's like every couple of years, I'll pick up the sticks and then get deep into it for like another 2 or 3 years, and then I'll quit.
Sure.
So for me, it's more of like an addiction. So I try not to do it too much because otherwise I'll be like, I'll do it all the time.
In it.
Yeah. So
I'm the same way, man.
Yeah.
It's tough, especially balancing everything else you want to do.
Right.
But I try to make time, at least a couple hours a day or a few hours a week.
You did that. I remember one of your projects was that Last of Us film, right? Didn't you do one of
them?
Yeah. Yeah, that's right.
That's right. She made that mask for it.
Oh yeah, that's right. That thing was amazing.
That was wild, right?
Yeah, that was like I was like wow, this is a serious project. It looked really good.
I appreciate it, man.
Yeah.
It's wild looking at it now. But
for a student project, imagine where you were back then. Like you can't like look at it like, oh, this kind of sucks now. I made this mistake. I made this mistake.
No,
right.
On the contrary, like in thinking to like that mask she made, and then whenever we filmed it,
right,
I was trying to mimic the sounds they were making for the game.
For the game, yeah.
And the layering it to just try to even match it.
Right.
Just made me have an appreciation for those guys. That's insane.
Yeah.
What they do.
Yeah.
And even in the second game.
Yeah, the second one
that just came out.
Yeah.
I finished it a few weeks back. Regardless of how I feel about the story or anything like that, dude, you have to commend them for like just the technical achievement.
The technical, they're hands down unbelievable.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. Yeah.
It's almost like it's insane because they have, I don't know if you know this, but they have their own, Sony does have their own team.
Yep.
ICE.
Yeah.
You know about those guys?
No, I haven't heard. ICE?
It's ICE, right? So Team ICE or whatever it is. And basically at the tail end of all of their first party studios games, Last of Us, Ghost of Tsushima,
right,
all that, they come in and they do a lot of fine tuning from the ground up on everything. Mainly visual from what I understand. That's why they all kind of have that look.
Right. Yeah.
I hear it's because of them and what they do to polish it up.
Sort of like mastering.
I think so.
Yeah, like visual mastering.
Yeah. I heard it somewhere and I thought it was like a myth.
That. Yeah.
But then I beat the game and they were like, no, here's the credit, the ICE team. I was like, whoa, it's real. I thought it was this programmer myth or something that were out there.
Yeah.
It's insane.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Those guys can probably hack really well.
Yeah.
Is that right? You think that they would be able to translate programming skills and
Yeah, I mean, I think that's, when you're that good at something, I think you sort of, you become like a SEAL team, right? It's like that's you're the elite of the elite.
That's insane. I guess they just have a monopoly on all these designers and everything because Microsoft seems to be dropping the ball a little bit.
Yeah.
Visually. And
yeah.
And even their games, like it's not really so solid, their first party lineup.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
next, we'll see next consoles come
Right.
out end of the year. So
This fall, right?
yeah, so we'll see what happens.
That's really cool.
I've always been more of a Xbox guy, but
Yeah?
I've been thinking about switching
Okay.
for the next console because I sold all my video game equipment.
Really?
Yeah, I sold everything because I'm like it's taking up too much time.
Yeah,
I have to focus on being more productive.
I understand, man. It's tough. It's tough to find time. That's one thing I do wish I did better in college was, or even in high school, is just getting discipline and getting that timing just right. Have you ever had those kind of problems with like getting focus? Because I see on your website, focus 92%.
Yeah, focus. That
Super
focus
high.
part is high.
Yeah,
it's high. No, I don't ever have focus issues. I think I if I have too much stuff going on, too many things that I can get scattered sometimes. So I think as I've gotten older, I've been better about taking care of my own mental health, taking breaks,
Gotcha.
taking like just, taking a day off from like not looking at a screen. Cause otherwise I'm looking at a screen for like 18 to hours a day,
Yeah.
So, I don't try not to burn my eyes out anymore. Trying to get outdoors,
Yeah.
Do stuff that doesn't burn you out. Cause sometimes it's not a problem of being overly focused. I think just being overly, I guess just always trying to be too productive. I think,
Sure.
overproductive.
No, I can agree, man.
Yeah.
Like, just being at it, hustling too hard, and
Right.
to your point, after a few years, at least I think that's what happened with me in music. I was just like, oof,
Yeah.
I'm done.
Right.
I sold
Yeah.
my guitar and
Yeah.
everything. I have one at the studio.
Right.
I'll pick up every once in a while, but
Right.
not really too much of a concern now. It's just kind of funny thinking of how into it I was.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
now I'm like, man, I probably could have used that time for something else, but I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, I think, when you're younger, you have this short-term view of like, I'm going to be doing this forever.
Right.
But in the long term, it's everything changes. Like your life will be somewhere else that you would never think
Yeah.
it was going to be.
Yeah. Do you get those days where days blur together? Because lately I've been like, man, what day is it?
Yeah.
It feels like the week is gone.
Yeah.
Or July
definitely.
is over,
Definitely, like I have those, especially with this pandemic and being indoors for so long. I definitely got that feeling a lot.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think just getting outside, like changing up your routine once in a while, doing something different,
Yeah.
like that helps alleviate that, break that up.
For sure.
Yeah,
For
yeah,
sure.
yeah.
There's some awesome trails behind the apartment.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, that's one reason I wanted to get her too, is to get more active.
Right.
To your point,
Yeah.
It helps a ton just seeing new scenery,
Mm-hmm.
get moving.
Yeah.
Never realized how important that stuff was.
It totally is.
Especially when you're young, right?
Yeah, when you're young, you're like, I can sit in the studio for 24 hours a day, and just not. But like, your body needs vitamin D from the sun.
Right.
You need all these things. Human beings were not meant to be in a dark cave. That's why our ancestors moved out of the cave and went to like
hunted,
hunted and did all that stuff. So yeah.
That's why they gave us these opposable thumbs, man.
Yeah, everything.
That's wild. Oh my word. I mean, do you stay active? Do you you hike and do stuff like that?
Yeah, try to work out at home now because my gym's closed. But as soon as that's open,
Gonna
be
go
back in there. Yeah, and yeah, like whenever I can, take a drive out to nature.
Yeah.
I'm gonna take a couple weeks off. I think at the end of August or September, and just go somewhere and take a nice couple. Like not even the phone. Like I'll bring the phone, but that's about it. Yeah. Just in case emergency.
Right.
But
I'm trying
but
to
no laptop, nothing.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm trying to turn mine off on the weekends.
Right.
Because love my boss and everything, but sometimes they'll sneak a text in, man.
Oh yeah. No,
I can't right now.
So I work for a company right now. My company Backbase is they're based out in Amsterdam. So they're an international company. So sometimes I have to take calls at like 7:30 in the morning.
Oh my
and
word.
Then we also have offices all over the world. So we have offices in Asia. So sometimes I'll take calls at like 8:30 at night, but I have to turn off sometimes and be like, I'm done. Yeah.
So and like for that job specifically, what is it that you do?
So
what do you focus on?
So my job is lead principal UX designer.
Okay.
So I lead a team of designers like myself who we're basically consultants is what you can see. When a bank or a financial institution wants to use our company's product and platform, we basically go in and teach them, this is how you use it. This is what the experience is going to be like for your customers when they use the app or when they use the online web platform or whatever it is. And then we basically educate them and then basically hold their hand through the process of building this, implementing our product.
I see.
Yeah.
I see. That's so cool, man.
Yeah, it's cool. It was awesome, man. I got to travel. Like last year, I went to Amsterdam twice.
Oh my
went
God.
To Cyprus, which is this island in the Mediterranean.
Cyprus.
Yeah, it's awesome. It was really nice. Then went to Mauritius, which is island in East Africa in the Indian Ocean. It's beautiful. It's a paradise.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I got to do all this like from
work.
the company for work. Yeah, it was awesome.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Yeah.
And so when you're there, obviously you're there to take in the sites too.
Right.
But this is what you were saying. You were consulting.
Yeah. I'm consulting with a bank there.
A bank there.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That's wild.
Yeah, but it's the perks are I just can sightsee and go to these beautiful places.
That's pretty good.
Yeah,
How did you get that gig? If you don't mind me asking.
I went back to actually went back to school.
Okay.
Yeah.
I got a master's.
I got a second master's.
Second master's.
Yeah, and it was a MBA degree.
Yeah.
From my alma mater, Georgia Tech. So I went back there. I was recruited out of there by another company, and I actually moved out of Atlanta. I moved to DC for about a year.
Okay.
2 years, and then saw an opportunity with these guys with this company because I actually had met one of the guys that worked there.
Okay.
And he does the same thing I do, and he was like, "Hey, you should come check us out." I'm like, "Yeah, you guys are in Atlanta. I want to be back in Atlanta."
Hell yeah.
So I just applied, got it, and yeah, it's been awesome.
That's so dope.
Yeah,
so you were in Washington D.C. for a bit.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
How was it like living there? I've never been.
I didn't like it. To be honest.
Really?
Yeah. It has positives and negatives, just like any place. I think. The nice thing is like you don't need a car. You can walk everywhere. It's a very walkable city. You can walk across the whole thing in about 45 minutes.
Really?
Yeah, it's small, super small. I mean, the surrounding areas are big, right? Like the suburbs, like in Virginia and Maryland, but the city itself is not that big. Lots of great sites, right? Lots of great museums, great food. The people there, I didn't like the culture there. I didn't really like too much.
Like more politics.
Yeah, very politics. Very people who are corporate, lobbyist type people, where the most important thing is what you do and not who you are. Sort of mentality.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, like who do you know? Who do you like? And who's what senator you're working for, all this, like all this stuff. Yeah. So, and actually worked, our office was in a WeWork facility that was right next to the White House.
No way.
Yeah. So I could look down from my window. I could look down onto the White House lawn.
That is
It's
wild.
nuts. And I would see the helicopter go off taking Trump every day.
No way.
Yeah.
So that was recently when you were there.
Yeah. It was like in I quit Art Institute in 2015. No, I want to say 2015. Yeah. So I was there in 2017. Yeah, I think.
Okay.
2017, 2018.
So after he got elected.
Right after he got elected, yeah.
Oh, man.
So, yeah, I was there. It was an interesting time. Yeah, like, I was like, and I'm not too into politics, but I was like, this is the wrong place for me. If you're into politics, you'll love it.
Yeah.
And the other thing I didn't like about it is super expensive. It's so expensive
Really?
there. Yeah, everything. Like food, housing, like everything is just super priced.
Oh, man.
Yeah, like way more than Atlanta.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Because I feel like it's pretty high, especially in downtown.
It's going up, but it's still nowhere close. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not really too into politics myself. Like for me, it's more interesting just what people talk about.
Right.
Especially now.
Yeah.
It's pretty wild.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I try to stay out of it as much as I can because people can get a bit sensitive about certain topics.
Exactly. I just try to stay away.
Yeah. So you don't whenever you use social media. I don't see you mentioning a lot of that kind of stuff. Yeah.
I try not to. I think it's just to me my personal philosophy is that I try to do well for myself I try to take care of myself so I can take care of those around me. And if I feel like if I can take care of my friends, my family, and my community, then that's going to be the most important political change I can make.
Absolutely.
It's not going to be by trying to do this big grand gesture of rioting or whatever, or protesting even.
Sure.
Which is, I understand people want to do that, and that's completely within their right. But I just don't think, like, in my experience, I found that the best way to affect the world positively is one person at a time, and you can only do that by yourself, right? You can't really do that with writing a letter campaign or running for office, you know?
Right. Or sign my petition.
Right. That stuff, I think, I don't know. It works. Maybe it works, but
not really. To your point,
right?
1-to-1 is a bit better.
Yeah,
I feel
my favorite classes to teach were actually the ones that were smaller, and I could get to know the students really 1-to-1 and and engage with them that way. So that was always like the most fun for me. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So to me, teaching was a political statement actually. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
I see.
Yeah.
I see. Getting people's minds and having them learning and through more positivity instill that change. Yeah, I can see that, man.
Right.
I can see that. I've been thinking about teaching myself, but I don't know if I'm cut out for it, man. Because isn't it, I mean, from what you talked about, it sounds like a more than just a 40-hour gig. You have to do quite a bit of.
It is. I had to do a lot of work outside of the classroom, you know, so it's a lot of work at home to sort of even to the point where I'm like trying to learn new stuff that I can bring into the class, because it's a never sort of ending process. Like you can't just say, I created this class and now it's done. Well, technology changes so quickly, just like you were saying to your point with the cameras and stuff. If I'm not on top of the latest camera or the latest audio equipment or the latest microphone, all this stuff, if I'm not on top of it, then my teaching is not that good. So I was always concerned about how can I bring quality to the classroom and how can bring value to my students. It's a tough job, and it takes a lot of patience too. It takes the hardest thing for me was to be able to really very quickly understand how a student learns, what their learning type is, and how to reach to them, because it's different. Everyone's so unique and individual. That's hard to it's hard to tailor like a curriculum to everyone, and finding that one thing about a person where you can get them where it gets them switched on. I think it was the trick, the best thing. And it was the hardest thing to do actually.
Yeah. I mean, I can imagine. It's tough for me to get myself into that.
Exactly. Yeah.
I imagine doing the same for someone else. That can be pretty difficult.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. Do you find yourself easily be able to get turned on by certain things? Like certain projects just get you going?
Yeah, I think for me, it's all about the challenge. So if something is challenging, if something's like, I think what bothers me most is when something that, I don't know how to describe it, but something that needs my help, that doesn't need my help, I'm just basically there, is wasting time for me.
Okay.
Right. So whereas if I have two equal things, if I have two equal projects and one of them's more challenging, I will always go for the more challenging project.
Gotcha.
Because it's just a challenge, you know. It's like
more stimulating.
Yeah.
You're bettering yourself and everything.
Yeah, it's like that competitiveness instinct, I guess.
Sure.
I don't understand people that don't have that really.
Yeah.
Because then why even play? Like, even if you're playing a board game, right? If you're playing Monopoly, right?
Right.
You're trying to win. You're trying to have. You're not trying to play for fun. You're trying to win, right? You're trying to. So, if you apply a strategy when you're playing Monopoly, I'm going to buy this house. I'm not going to buy this. I'm going to spend my money this way. Why not apply that to everything in your life?
Sure. Wow. So matter of fact, I love it, man. That's dope. I was
always like that, though. I think all my students have said, like, you told it like it is, Mr. Bose. And I'm like, I did.
Absolutely, man. I mean,
I'm not going to sugarcoat it for you.
Yeah. The world's not either, man.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was like. I was like, I'm not here to like be your friend, and like I'll be your friend after you graduate, which I have all my students are my friends now on social media or whatever. But while I was there, I was like, I'm not your friend. I'm trying to like make you better. I'm trying to teach you and like make you better.
Oh man.
So like when you get out in the real world, you don't have it as rough.
It won't be as a surprise, right?
Yeah, it won't be like, oh my God, what happened?
Right.
Everyone's like, all my elders have failed me, like my parents, my teachers, everyone.
Mr. Bose, what the hell?
I know, right?
You didn't warn me, man.
I
Yeah.
did my best. I was like, come on.
No, dude, for the better. I think I'm better for it. I appreciate it. Because, the real world does not do you any favors.
It doesn't.
Not
It's
at
not.
all.
It's
Not at all.
It can be a tough place sometimes.
Yeah. Kind of wish we had an example of how tough. I mean, did you ever have any tension with any students because of that?
I think so. I think there was a lot of students, and again, it just came down to their personality and learning style, where they wanted someone who was just like more, and I don't know whether it was from history or whatever or things, but they wanted someone who was more basically like snuggly, touchy feely, more like,
It's
hey,
okay.
how are you? What are you doing?
Sure,
like all
sure.
that stuff.
Right.
And I was trying to, I think in my own mind, and I like to be friends with people. I'm a very open person. And I like to get to know people a lot.
Mm-hmm.
But in the classroom, I considered it like, I'm going to run this like a business, like how
Sure.
business is run. Like you show up on time, you do this work. And
Right.
because I was trying to mentally prepare students for the real world, which
yeah.
is like that.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
not like your boss is going to come up to you and give you a hug,
Sure.
just
You
say,
having a good day?
oh, you have a headache, go sit down, have a, don't, I'm like, I
Sure.
don't care. Like,
Right.
right? Like
We gotta
I'm
get
trying,
the work done.
I'm a nice guy, but I will be the bad cop if I have to, you know what I
Right,
mean? Like
right.
not cop, but
Sure.
like, I can't say you're a bad cop now because it's like
Oh,
a whole other,
Dude, they're gonna cut that out of context.
yeah.
No, man, I'm with you. I mean, having that's interesting you mentioned that, because I've had a couple of problems trying to develop my management style. And I'm a pretty laid back guy.
Yeah. Yeah.
And for me, as long as the work gets done above the standard that's already there and people can challenge themselves,
Right.
I feel like that is a great working environment. But
Absolutely.
to your point, it's also a working environment that people can take advantage of.
Yes.
And then to reprimand, it's tough
Right.
to
Right.
It's tough to, hey man, you're dropping the ball. What the hell? You
Yeah.
know? It's a tough balancing act, I feel.
It's definitely tough. I'm also very like a hands-off manager. Like I don't
Yeah.
like to micromanage. I'm just there for support.
Absolutely.
But the key to that is you have to make sure you hire the right people who are like self-motivated, like we were talking about, people who
Gotcha.
have that. Because if you don't have that, then you're gonna take advantage of whatever
Sure.
is presented in front of you.
Sure,
right?
sure,
So,
yeah.
yeah.
That's tough to find.
It is.
That's
It's
very-
extremely tough.
Yeah.
Like I go through like 5-10 interviews a week.
Really?
Yeah, and maybe like one candidate out of 10 can move on to the next interview.
Is
Like
that
screening.
right?
Yeah.
Interview for
For my company for like
Oh,
UX
okay.
positions.
I see.
Yeah.
So you interview 10 people and only one of them you feel
Is good enough, and sometimes not even good enough to get to the end, but just
Really?
to pass the first interview. Yeah.
Oh, whoa.
Yeah.
How many interviews these people go through, man?
For ours, we normally go through three
Three?
different interviews. Yeah.
And you guys are for a bigger, like, international company.
We're an
as
international
well.
company. We're not huge. We still have like less than 1,000 employees worldwide. So it's fairly big, but I love it because for me it's the perfect size.
Yeah.
Like anything bigger than this, and I worked for companies that were like corporations, like IBM
Really?
and these type of
Yeah,
corporations.
I saw that.
They're huge and they're okay, but they're not flexible. They're very like very corporate, rigid
Yeah.
environment.
Yeah.
This company's perfect because it's like it's got that startup mentality. It's very,
Sure.
very like bootstrappy and has a
love
really
that.
fun company culture, but it's big enough that it still has the resources of like a bigger company. So
Gotcha.
it's that nice balance that I like. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. That's very cool, man.
Yeah.
I mean, the company I work for is super small.
Super small. Yeah.
Super small. And I can see both the advantages and the disadvantages,
Right.
you know, for being so, because it's like 20, below 20. And everything else is kind of outsourced, and we bring freelancers in.
Right.
And since I'm the head of the video department, I'm kind of overseeing crew and then post and then pre-production, trying to mine the dollars and the cents.
Right.
And trying to balance all those, and then to your point, finding the right people to fit in these positions.
Yeah.
And because of my management style, I need to be able to trust them to do the job. That's
right.
It's a tough gig to make sure it gets all done pretty
right. Yeah.
well.
Right.
Yeah.
So you have to deal with budgets. You have to deal with.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's crazy.
Absolutely. It's nuts, man.
Yeah, it's a
it's
lot.
Nuts. It is.
So it's like basically a mini film shoot every time, right? Like you're basically like all the same processes, everything like that. Yeah.
Yes. So the company is called Outdoor Flicks, and our big client now is Xmark, and they are a lawnmower company.
Right. Yeah.
Big publicly traded company.
Right.
And we do all of their advertising, and right now the big push is more social friendly content.
Right. Yeah.
And so for this year, it's been 5 new series. So there's a cooking series, and they all have to fit in these buckets, right?
Right.
For their analytics and their demographic.
Yeah.
And so for that demographic, it's 45 to 65, white male.
Right.
That's their primary.
Right.
And then everything tailors off of that. So that's where the series are trying to hit.
Right.
So there's like a cooking show, which is made about meat.
Right. Grilling meat.
The prime cut.
Yeah.
And then there's like a DIY show. And now this year is a DIY extreme. And she could tell you, dude, these shoots have been extreme.
Really?
Like, yeah, because they're not long, but they're grueling because you're in there with hot days with construction crews.
Yeah.
And trying to get every single snippet we need because, we're the ones editing the stuff too.
Right. So you want to make sure you get all the shots and it's covered. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And it's templated, so it makes it a little easier.
Right.
But man, it's a lot of stuff to juggle.
Do you have to shoot specifically for social media too, like Instagram videos and stuff like that?
Well,
because doesn't sound like that demographic would go for that sort of stuff.
That's what's interesting is like now Facebook is turning into, like it wasn't at first, but the people that used Facebook when it was first out are starting to get older.
Right.
And I think now that's where the demographic lives.
Is Facebook, yeah.
Is Facebook predominantly.
Yeah.
Instagram is kind of like a little bit off of that, but to your point, all the stuff that we shoot typically has to stay between 4x3 just in case.
Yeah.
But next year, we're going to be starting not only to do this digital stuff that's more 16:9 that people see through on their phones or laptops,
right?
But we're also going to have to take into consideration these stories,
the square aspect ratio, vertical video.
Yeah. It's insane, man. I was watching Total Recall a few months back, and they had it right back in the 80s.
Yeah.
Like they had a screen that was 4x3, but long ways. Like a phone.
Yep.
That's nuts.
Yeah.
Oh, dude. Unreal.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah. I mean, it must have been crazy for you because you saw the growth from early 2000s to what it will end up being now.
Yeah.
That's nuts, man.
Yeah. And even before that, like I was doing stuff. Man, I remember my first computer I got when I was 14, so I was like really young, and then starting to learn how to program and learn how to manipulate like sounds and images on the computer.
Yeah.
I mean, like from a long time ago. like
what were the programs back then?
Man, everything was in DOS or in,
really?
Everything was like either text based or when I got my first Macintosh, of course, that was like had the first GUI and the mouse and stuff, right? So
dude,
yeah,
that is wild.
And then I remember the internet. Like I remember before the internet.
Really?
Yeah.
Like how much of a world change was that?
It's a paradigm change. It's a world. It was an enormous change.
Yeah.
Like huge change. Crazy.
Almost as much as social media has been, right?
Yeah.
It's like, and all of a sudden, it's nuts.
Yeah. I started using the internet in 1993, like on an old Mosaic browser.
Dude, I was 3 years old, man.
Yeah.
That's wild. Wait, so the internet was birthed around that time?
Yeah.
Because I thought it was like the late 90s.
No, 89, 90. It first started getting into universities around 90, 91. And then I started using it when I got to school in 93. It wasn't household at all. Like,
right.
Yeah.
There was like universities to your point.
Yeah, universities had
big
them.
tech houses.
Yeah. And then it just, from there, boom.
And now it's everywhere.
Yeah.
We can't live without it, right?
You can't.
Dude.
So the point where if you don't have internet, it's just
Yeah.
like, what's wrong with you? Like, you know, like you.
Are you okay?
Yeah.
Oh man. Do you think it should be a utility?
A public utility? I think
The
at this
internet.
point, yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah. I think it should be. It's.
I heard it talked about a few years back, and I was thinking at the time, nah. But now I'm like, everything's kind of done on.
People don't know, but it was developed on like. It was developed by DARPA, which is basically a defense program created by the government. So,
Right.
So it's basically a public tool in the first place as far as how it was created.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. So I don't see why it shouldn't be a public utility. It shouldn't be something that, you know, everyone. Basic human has.
Yeah.
You know, because it's basically information, right? It's the world's information.
Sure.
So-
Which should be free.
It should be free.
That's nuts, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. These damn ISPs. Dude, I didn't realize, but they bet on districts.
Yeah,
And
it's
that's-
it's a monopoly. It's crazy.
How is that legal? Same with like
Yeah.
Amazon. We were just talking about it too. Is we love Amazon,
Right.
but I think it's because it's what it's become,
Right.
like, to make everything so cheap and so fast. And
Yeah,
to
I
get it
saw.
out to people.
I saw the screenshot of Amazon's first webpage in 1997. It's crazy,
whoa,
and it's just like a gray, like screen
Mhm.
with like a picture of a window, like a really bad 8-bit graphic,
Right,
and
right.
like the text is all like in cursive, and it's
Oh
like
my
it says
God.
buy online books here and a big blue link. It's terrible.
And that was Jeff Bezos.
That's Jeff Bezos.
and
Now
see,
he's going to be the world's first trillionaire.
that's nuts. I mean, that's more than royalty.
Right.
You know.
Yeah.
I guess these tech CEOs, they're the new kings and queens.
Yeah.
almost.
It's a new. Yeah.
That's nuts, man.
It's nuts.
How do you feel about all that?
I mean, I think on one side of me is it's obscene. You know, obviously
okay.
that kind of money is like insane. Like,
Can't
how
even
can you even, you
fathom.
can't even fathom it, right? You don't even. I don't even think he can, right? I don't think people who are that rich can fathom how much money it is.
They really,
Yeah.
yeah. I wouldn't be able to. You look in the mirror and be like, I'm a trillionaire.
Right.
What does that even mean?
Yeah. What does that even mean? Even a million. Like, what does that even mean? Like, what can I? You know.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, on one hand, it's, but at the same time, like, you know, it's he made that money. I mean, like, he
Sure.
created a company that created immense value, and
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
millions of people are employed because of him, and
That's
all
the
this.
other
You know,
thing
there's
too,
all this.
yeah.
You can't just say like all rich people are evil because they have that much money. Well, look at all the
Sure.
people that they're helping too. You know,
Absolutely. And
yeah.
the standard of living we
Standard
all have
of-
because of them, right?
like yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
Imagine if we didn't have Amazon during the pandemic. Like, a lot of people
Ooh.
would have suffered.
Yeah.
You know, so
Yeah.
people might not have been able to get basic necessities. Like,
Sure.
there's all these nuances to any kind of situation where it's like
Sure,
automatically like when you say like, oh, he's a millionaire, hate that guy.
Right.
I mean, it's such a small, it's just a simple mindset, you know.
narrow thinking.
Yeah, narrow thinking.
Yeah. No, I'm with you. I'm with you. I mean, like you, I'm of two minds.
Right.
You know, because definitely we've taken advantage of it.
Right.
I know I have friends that did too, like with Amazon Fresh.
Yeah.
I didn't want to go out and get groceries.
Oh yeah, I did Fresh like every day for like weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just it was the easiest, safest way
Right.
to get it. I mean, 2 hours too, and you get it delivered.
Mm-hmm.
That's nuts. I don't know
It's
how
crazy.
they do it.
Yeah.
I don't want to know.
Yeah. Exactly.
I don't know, man. That's wild. And then with Musk too. Have you
Musk.
been keeping up with what he's doing lately with
Yeah.
like this brain interface?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's nuts, dude.
Yeah.
Imagine how like designing just to that interface would be in the next
Right.
few years. I can't
Yeah.
even think about it.
I think I was always trying to tell students this like stuff like early, you know. I was
Oh,
like,
yeah.
you gotta watch out for technology, man. Like,
Yeah.
there's some crazy stuff coming down
Yeah.
in your lifetime that's gonna happen. That's gonna be
Super quick.
mind blowing. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, me and my friend were talking about it at another show of ours, and I was thinking, well, if we're hooked up,
Mm-hmm.
it's taking away our fingers being the
Interface.
interface.
Yeah.
And now it's just our minds.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's one level.
Right.
But if we're able to do that, we'd be able to talk without speaking.
Right.
And what if it's not just the words I'm saying, but what if, like, if I was telling a sad story, what if those emotions were also able to be
Right.
quantified and sent too? That could be some kind of weird.
It's weird, man.
Version of telepathy or something. You know?
Yeah, I mean, there's all sorts of weird scenarios that can happen.
Yeah.
I mean, there's going to be a point, and it's called I don't know if you've read this guy Ray Kurzweil. He actually is Kurzweil. If you've heard of keyboards, he's actually a keyboard maker. He invented like these keyboards called Kurzweil keyboards. They're pretty famous.
Okay.
But he's also like a scientist, like a futurist and technologist, and everything he said about technology has come true. So he wrote this book in the 1980s, and where he predicted the internet. He predicted all this stuff happening.
No way.
Yeah.
What's currently happening?
Happening now, and then he wrote another book like in the early 2000s which he calls like this basically the age of technological singularity.
Oh, I've heard of this.
Yeah. So what this means is basically a point in the future where human beings and technology are going to be no longer distinguishable from each other. So all the technology that you use today will be completely embedded in you, and versus same thing with a machine, like an actual intelligent machine will have some the same aspects of humanity embedded in them. So it'll be like impossible to know which is which. Yeah.
That's
what is what.
Insane, man.
Yeah.
Not in our lifetime.
It's going to happen.
But maybe.
I mean, if you look at the pace of technology and how fast it changes, it's very possible. Yeah.
Whoa. I don't even know how that would look like.
We didn't that's the thing. We don't know how to react to this stuff because it's happening so quickly.
Sure.
There's no way to know like how it's changed our brains, our everything, like, you know.
Sure. I mean, that's like there's some studies now of how just teenagers using phones, how that changes the way they grow up in those very formidable years.
Right. Yeah.
And how negative it can be.
Yeah.
You know, that's nuts. I mean, just think about being able to talk without
talk. Yeah.
Or transfer information. I don't even. That's wild.
Yeah.
That's some wild stuff. Or to be spacefaring. That's my thing, man.
I would love that. That's like what every like rich millionaire wants to go to space,
right?
You know, that's why I want to be a rich millionaire. I want to go to space too. I want to go with those guys.
Yeah. Well,
I would love it. That's the awesome.
Yeah, they may make it open to the public, man. You never know. I'm sure Musk wants to. Go into Mars.
Actually, there's a couple of commercial companies that are going to start doing like manned space flights, like, or it's going to be low orbit, like Earth flights, right? So you'll be really high up, basically on orbit, but you'll technically be in space.
Sure. I'm all about it.
I love it. I would love that.
I've ridden an airplane for the first time a few years back.
Yeah.
Like not even a few, like 4 years.
Right.
And I was like, dude, this is really high up. And yeah, it's not too far.
It's not too far.
That's wild.
There's all kinds of crazy. I mean, I think like now is just we're living in the craziest times, right? And I've obviously lived longer than you, but I can still say with a certainty this is the craziest times that have happened. And
hell, just me being, to your point, I'm a little younger, just 10 years ago was a completely different world
different time,
versus where it is now, even like 5 years ago.
But like stuff like, I mean, the existence of UFOs, now UFOs are real. They've been
that
proven.
Right?
Yeah, you didn't see this?
I saw that the Department of Defense released footage, right?
But I mean, the footage, like Joe Rogan on his podcast had one of the pilots who's a very credible like pilot. He's done missions for 30 years, and he's like, that's a UFO. They're real.
Just candidly.
Yeah. And I mean,
there's just unidentified. We have no idea.
You don't know. I mean, but yeah,
they're there.
They're there.
That's insane to think about.
And a few years ago, it was just like, there's all these shows about like, how aliens might be real, and now we know.
That's crazy, dude. Well, we know they're real, but we don't know exactly.
We don't know exactly what they are, but we know they're real. That's kind of crazy in itself. Yeah.
That's the last thing we need this year, dude.
Right. Alien invasion. Yeah, right.
Well, hopefully they don't like the COVID, right?
Yeah.
Oh my word. Have you known anyone that got sick?
I did know one person, but not they were like someone that worked for my company, but not directly in our office or anywhere near us. So
no one in your circle.
A coworker, no one in my circle.
Same here. I had a family member, an uncle. I didn't know him, but my dad and my sister are in Texas, and they were with their like my dad's side of the family, And my uncle from his side of the family, apparently my grandmother got it. She's 95, dude, and just had a cough. Nothing else.
Wow.
But then my uncle got it. He passed away.
Wow.
Insane.
So it's like completely unknown how it affects people.
It's nuts.
Yeah.
It's nuts. And that's kind of scary.
That's the scariest thing. Is like, I'd rather know than not know, but no one knows.
Even now after these months, I think we want to know, but
that's why I'm kind of scared of a vaccine, because it's like, well, if you don't know enough yet, how can you make this vaccine so quickly? I don't want to be the first person to take it. That's all I'm saying. I'll take it. I'll take it eventually, but I want to see if it's
legit.
I'm
with you, man. They're saying like September. I'm like, how in the world?
How is that
even
possible?
A year.
Yeah,
it's not even a year.
Yeah, we don't know what those long-term effects of that's going to be. And if you think about it, most vaccines, like I get a flu shot every year.
Oh yeah,
I still get the flu. Like
Do you really?
Yeah. I've gotten it before. I've gotten a flu shot and gotten the flu, because vaccines only have a 25% efficacy rate. It's still better than not having it. But it's still like, it's like you said, even if you get if you get the COVID vaccine, doesn't mean you're immune. It's not you're not immune for it. So
right. That's wild.
Yeah.
I've never gotten a flu shot
ever,
but I've never gotten the flu.
So there you go.
I'm knocking on some kind of wood somewhere.
Yeah, right.
Never had it. I think I've only ever had, there was one time where I had really gotten sick, but it was just a fever.
Right.
And then after a couple of days it went away.
Yeah.
I guess it may affect some people differently. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
But now I've never gotten a flu shot. I've been told to get some.
Right.
And now I think I may.
I mean, the flu shot, all it is a little bit of the flu. They give you the flu.
Yeah.
So is that what's going to happen with the COVID vaccine? They give you a little bit of the COVID?
Yeah.
Like, who knows, right?
Who knows? And same with the antibodies, too.
Yeah.
Like, some people have them, but then they're still able to get it over the next few months.
Yeah.
It's wild stuff, man.
The person who got it in our office, they were saying that they got sick, but, like, it was mostly like fever, like basically flu-like symptoms and stuff. Yeah. And the only difference between now, they've recovered obviously and they're negative now, but the only difference is now they can't work out. They don't have as much lung capacity. Like they'll work out and get tired like a lot more easily.
Yeah.
But it might be just because they're out of shape. They're out for a month, or who knows. But they're also, the other thing they were saying was like they lost their voice too. So like their voice goes out a lot easier.
Wow.
Which is weird.
That's very strange.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I heard in some some studies that they say male fertility seems to be affected too. Isn't that crazy?
That's crazy. Yeah, like no more kids.
I'm not about that.
Yeah, right. No more kids.
Let's calm it down, man.
Yeah, it's nuts. Like you lose your sense of taste and smell.
That's
and
the
all
other
kinds
thing too.
It's so weird. But then not everybody has every symptom, right? And then
that's what's even stranger. Is some people it's just a cough, like my grandmother who's 95.
Yeah.
Or it can turn into something where you have to get ventilated.
Yeah, it's scary. Yeah.
It's scary stuff.
I mean, I always wear a mask everywhere. I think that's the thing. You just have to be practical, right? Just
sure.
The people that are saying like, "Oh, I don't ever want to wear a mask," and all this stuff. Just you might be right. Right, masks might not do anything, but it's sort of like. I think if the mask, the whole mask thing, right? If we had taken the stigma out of wearing a mask very early on, like the Asian countries did, then you wouldn't have this problem.
Right. Yeah. Like Japan doesn't have this problem.
Yeah. Taiwan.
And they haven't had a shutdown, from what I understand.
Yeah.
They've had like incremental.
But in those cultures, mask wearing is normal. It's normalized.
Right.
Like everyone wears one.
Right.
If you're not wearing one, it's not a big deal. But if you it's no. Whereas if you saw someone in a mask, like maybe let's say a year ago, if you saw someone walking around with a mask, you'd automatically think they were sick.
Right. Or
like weird. Yeah. You'd be weirded out by them.
Yeah.
But if we had normalized that and just made masks like
totally cool,
yeah,
it would be a different story.
Yeah.
And now it's like
now it's politicized and now
infringement on rights.
Yeah. Now it's politicized and now it's like just part of the whole polarization of America.
Yeah. It's insane, man.
Yeah.
I gladly wear it.
Yeah.
Whenever I can, even outside in the heat sometimes, but I can see how it can be.
Oh yeah, definitely. If you're working,
if you're
working outside in the sun.
Yeah. But I mean, it's not too bad. It's just an inconvenience.
Yeah.
And I think
Who
it's a
cares?
respect thing too.
Yeah.
You know, you don't want others to get sick, and especially with something we don't know. We don't know if we have it. You know,
Right.
It's a smarter thing to do, I feel.
Yeah. I feel like it's easy. Just,
Yeah.
take 2 seconds.
The least you can do.
Yeah.
I like it as another accessory. I
Yeah.
have like 10 of them now.
I think it's always weird when people are driving alone in a car with them
With them on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's like kind of weird.
Yeah.
Like you're by yourself.
Yeah. In your own
car.
space.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very strange stuff. I don't know. Well, I hope it'll get better.
Yeah.
And
That's all we can do is just,
stay safe.
stay safe. So
Yeah,
hope
yeah.
it gets better and then get back to it.
Yeah. Hopefully aliens won't come and invade us in the next
Yeah.
5 months.
I mean, I think it'd be cool though. Wouldn't it be cool if the aliens actually did come and we found it? Like, it would be the year to do it. It would be now, But like,
What kind of aliens do you think?
I don't know. Like, I'm trying to think of what I just think aliens are too. We wouldn't be able to understand them. We wouldn't be able to comprehend them at all,
Absolutely.
unless they've been like studying us for years and years and years, maybe millennia. They've studied us,
Maybe.
so then they can just automatically be like, "Oh,
What's up?
What's up? What's up? We've been watching y'all for a while."
You guys are fools.
Yeah, or they'll just stay away. Just be like, "Screw these guys. We're not going here.
Right.
Avoid at all costs. Earth."
Right. I mean, for all we know, that's how it is now.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
just like a tourist destination where they just stay away and just look.
Yeah.
I
mean, who knows? Yeah.
It's wild. But it would be this year.
It would be this
If
year.
It would be any year.
Yeah.
All right, man. Well,
Awesome.
dude, I think
Great
we've had a great
conversation.
convo.
Yeah, this is great.
I
This is
really
awesome.
appreciate
yeah,
you
it was
coming,
fun, man.
dude.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely.
Great.
Do you
Yeah.
want to plug your Twitch channel?
Yeah. So Friday nights, twitch.tv/Radio I'm Live. That's my friend's DJ stream that we do every Friday night. And then, follow me at Saurabh on Twitter,
There you
on
go.
Instagram at Saurabh. Yeah, just follow me on those two, I guess.
Follow
I'm
'em.
trying to get off Facebook because, like, Facebook is, like you said, it's a little different demographic now.
It is a little toxic. It's
Yeah.
this weird thing of personal and like some people try to do career type of stuff on there.
Yeah.
Are you on LinkedIn at all?
Yeah, I'm
Is
on
that
LinkedIn.
Still a thing?
Yeah,
Mm.
and that's just my full name. You can just follow me there.
Yeah.
My website, I got to revamp that website. My website's old.
It looks
And
clean, dude.
Yeah, but it's too old. It's not. I've done a bunch of stuff since then, so
Yeah.
it's just hard. Like, you can't updating a website.
Sure.
It's, like, it's not easy.
I understand, dude.
Yeah.
I tried getting mine up and running earlier this year, and I was like, dude, this is a job.
Yeah, it is. It's another
It's
job.
a job.
Yeah.
All right, man.
Cool, man.
Well, they'll check you out on your Twitch
Yeah,
channel.
thanks.
I will too.
Yeah.
And appreciate you guys for stopping by, checking out Saurabh.
Thanks.
And we'll catch you next week.
All right.
All right.
Thanks.
That's it.
Yeah.